Hey guys, and welcome to another tutorial. Today I'm going to show you how to create a bass that is similar to Com Truise's style. I really love the way he makes his bass lines, and I've always been a fan of his music, so I try to incorporate his sounds into my own productions wherever it makes sense. But let me go ahead and show you what this sounds like. So one of the key things about Com Truise style bass lines is he does a lot of micro editing to the MIDI notes, which I think a lot of it comes from his background when he used to be like a garage or drum and bass producer or something like that. I don't know. But, drum and bass producers are extremely technical and they really focus on microseconds of information. And while this MIDI pattern here isn't specifically super intricate like their stuff, I'll play it for you so you can kind of get an idea and you'll see what I'm talking about. So as you can see here, this little pattern is doing sort of like that signature Com Truise style, and those things can take a little bit of time to write in, but they do add a lot. So I highly recommend trying those out. Just playing around with bass notes and just doing weird patterns and seeing what happens. But so let's go ahead and dive into it. I'm going to get started with the filters. And then I'm also going to get started with the mod envelope. As you guys know, that's sort of my go-to. So let's go ahead and get the filter set to a place that sounds good. Let's get the ADSR down. Let's hear how it sounds so far. Let's bring the oscillator down. Let's bring these guys up. Got to make this mono. So a key feature of this type of sound is going to come from downsampling, and that's going to give it a nice little tone at the very high end of the bass. So let's play around with this a little bit and get it right. Oh well, that was great on the first try. One thing you can do though is you can mix these guys in. So this is sort of like a filter, and you can say I only want that sound to happen after 1,000 hertz or something. So let's hear how that sounds. So that's a pretty good start. Got there a lot faster than I thought we would. But let's go ahead and play with a few other settings. Let's get the EQ going and kind of bring out the highs a little bit. And then let's bring the lows up a little bit. A good sweet spot is going to be around the second octave, so around 100. Let's put 90, and then set that Q up a little bit. All right, so that bass is already sounding super fat. Let's give it a little bit more release. One thing you can do too that's just kind of common in his sound is like the Portamento. So that sounds pretty decent. One little trick that you can do with these types of bass lines is we're going to play around with the velocity a little bit. So let's go ahead and play with some velocity settings. So as you can see here, I'm kind of editing the velocity for each individual note, just kind of doing something random, like nothing super specific, but this is going to be really useful for what's coming next. A cool little trick. So let's go ahead and open Serum back up. Let's bring the velocity and let's modulate the reverb. So let's turn the reverb mix all the way down, assign the velocity to this guy. I'm actually going to pick a reverb that I like. So what's going on here is the MIDI notes are hitting specific velocity ranges. So like this one's at 50. And with this thing, what we're doing here in Serum is we're telling the velocity to trigger when it hits a certain range. So you'll be able to hear this in a second. Watch. So as you can hear it there, if you play the note very low, it's not going to trigger the reverb. Watch. If I have all these low, but then I have all these high. Now this is really cool because it lets you essentially not have to automate an effect like that. You can literally just write in the MIDI notes and assign the velocity range. And you know, the cool thing is that you can do this with anything. So let's say if we want to do this with delay, let's turn the reverb off. Let's do it with delay and see how that sounds. And let's do dotted eighth and a regular eighth. So it's doing the same thing. Really cool effect in my opinion. We can even do this with the distortion. So we can have like that bit crushing sound right here. So there you go. It's a really simple trick, but super useful. And then the last thing is you can add a noise oscillator if you want. What this is going to do is sort of give it like a little bit more hiss. We can change the pitch so that it actually makes it a little bit louder, or I'm sorry, not louder, but higher register instead of it being so low. And yeah, that just adds like a little bit of air, which I think is really pleasant. Then again, we can always play with the unison and bring the width down so that it's more mono. That way you have your oscillator A bass mono and then the B1 stereo, and that'll give you a lot more control. Let's add a sub. And then it's actually bringing this EQ a little bit over. And there you go. That's essentially how to build a Com Truise style bass line. He obviously uses a lot of different hardware. I'm not even sure if he uses silent or anything like that, but it is possible to recreate a lot of those analog sounds in Serum. Serum does have the reputation of being a lot more, I guess a lot of people would consider it to be very bright or digital sounding, but I think it can sound very analog if you kind of know what you're doing and the different ways to achieve that. A lot of it's just playing with, you know, your fine tuning and assigning LFOs, which I'm going to show you guys in the next video. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know if you have any questions in the comment, and don't forget to subscribe. Every subscription is appreciated. Thank you guys. Bye.